One is water conservation.
Okay.
Done that on my own property. It's one of the first easy things I look at for people is, how much per unit per month are these apartments using in water?
Okay.
Because that's something that can be fixed. Um, my business partner, Paul, is actually in the process of redoing his insurance with um, instead of like a traditional multifamily insurance company, he's using State Farm, and he's actually been able to reduce his insurance costs by about 30,000 a year.
Oh, wow.
Which, yeah, you put that on a seven cap, and you're $425,000 worth of value that he's increased the property by lowering that expense.
Yeah.
So tough times always lead to innovation. So, um, I'm trying to think of other ways people are sort of being creative and adding value. Um, I think, one thing that I've implemented is trying to retain tenants
Okay.
uh, while giving them an increase in rent. But so let's say, if I can not have to do a make ready on a unit and save, $1,000 and get a little bit of a rent increase, I've been doing a good job for my cash position. And and try and give them something like a new appliance, new ceiling fan, clean their
Okay.
carpet, show them that I'm investing the money in the property rather than just being a greedy landlord, letting the work orders pile up and continuing to raise the rents. But, you know, renewing people by spending a little money to keep them,
Yeah.
and then spending money to bring in a new tenant, um, is can be an effective way to control income and expenses a little bit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, those are good innovations. And when it comes to the current market that we have, which I think is well, not that competitive, or would I say is competitive, but what advice would you give to new or aspiring apartment investors looking to enter the Dallas market for the first time? Looking at when you the numbers of deal flow you have, then what you analyzing right now, what you're listing as a brokerage, what would that the advice that you give for new and aspiring investors right now?
If I was going to be a new investor, and what I'd like to see from investors is for them to see what properties are selling for, and then figure out what sort of metric, be it cap rate, price per unit, IRR, price per foot, just know what stuff is actually trading for.
Okay.
And that way, if your expectations for your returns are in line with the market.
Okay.
Because if you're going to have a tough time, and um, and that is one way you can on the front end say, okay, if I'm looking for eight caps or seven caps, they're probably not in Dallas. I'm not going to be buying in Dallas Fort Worth, you know,
Okay.
um, because right now we're a 5.5 to 6.5 cap market.
Okay.
That would be my advice. Kind of get familiar with the properties that are selling.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Yeah, that's not a bad idea actually, for newbies, coming to the apartment investing niche. And I mean, over the years, you've listed tons of properties out there, and how is the deal flow for apartment investment in the Dallas area been affected? Looking at the current market trends, and what strategies are investors using to identify and secure lucrative opportunity in this competitive landscaping right now when you look at things?
We've had success over these last couple of years in just trading in smaller properties, 9, 12, 16, 20 units. I've got one under contract in East Dallas, 16 units, one on the market that's not units. I mean, I had a couple of bigger ones that fell out of contract because of equity issues or debt issues or capital needs. Um, the bigger deals are just tougher to get done right now
Yeah.
because, I mean, if prices went down 20%, a $40 million deal, might have lost 8 million, dollars worth of value, whereas a $4 million deal, lost 800. And
Yeah.
so the dollar amount is so big. And a lot of these smaller deals are more, your private buyers and kind of, which has always been really my bread and butter, working with
Okay.
private clients. So yeah, because yeah, right now there's just not a lot of inventory. We underwrite a ton of properties, but not a lot of them make sense.